Hey everybody, it's Pete Chito from the Meadville Tribune Sports Department. Time once again this week for the Sideline Confidential podcast, episode number 23. It is Thursday, February 20th, 2020. That's a lot of 20s. So it's 02202020. And it's a busy week. We're not going to do a whole lot of talking ahead of time because it's right in the middle of playoff week and for winter sports, and boy, things are nutso here. First of all, we do have to address probably the saddest news that I've encountered in the 20 years that I've been working here is the passing of Jamestown senior Darian Keyser this week for causes unknown. Died in his sleep, 18 years old, horrible. The kid was a 1,000-point scorer for the Muskies. Died in his sleep Sunday night. Nobody really knows why or how it was caused, but that's one of the worst things that I've ever experienced here because it's unimaginable and unexplainable. So are all of our thoughts and oh geez, I almost said it. But we're just thinking about the Jamestown people, and it's been really affecting us, everybody up here, and it's a shame that it happens at any time, let alone when a team's a few days away from playing for a District 10 championship, which they're going to play. The coach Widger said that they're going to play the game, which you kind of expected them to do, that they weren't going to pack it in. And Darian has a brother that's on the team, and it's got to be. I imagine you'd want to, play to leave all that stuff behind and get out on the floor.
You can never really know what's going through everybody's heads, but I mean, it makes you wonder, like, what would Darian want them to do? What would stuff like that, and it comes down to what the family wants and everything, and they said they're playing, and
Yeah, I mean, it's a chance for Jamestown to get their second straight District 10 title. They've worked long and hard for that, and sadly, one of their best players can't be there for it. But that's coming up. That's on the 28th. They're supposed to play Commodore Perry, who they beat twice already, and that's to be announced when and where that's happening. But anyway, that was Jordan Hansgen that you heard speaking. And over here you hear silently is Matt DiGiacomo, assistant sports editor. And so moving on, like I said, it's Thursday. We all got back from something. Matt, you were at District 10 Wrestling today, AAA at Meadville.
Yes.
Pretty good day for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, 5 champs. They had another freshman who just missed out. He was in the finals. And then they had 2 other kids place third, so they got 8 out of their 10 wrestlers through the regionals. And in the playoffs, anything can happen. You know this as well as anybody. Sometimes the best wrestler doesn't always win. It's just the guy who's wrestling best at that time. Mm-hmm. And they all looked pretty sharp. I mean, Billy Terwilliger lost in the semifinals to a kid. He's our
6-pounder, right?
Yeah, 106. A good kid, Salat from McDowell. A really good wrestler. And he was down by 4 points. He scored 4 points in the final, seconds to tie it up. And it looked like he might even have a shot at the takedown in overtime.
Did.
Yeah. And then looks like he almost had that shot to win it in overtime, but
one of those things where they battle and scramble.
And the McDowell kid ends up on top, puts him on his back, and he ends up winning by 5 points. So it looks like he lost by 5 points, but it was a lot closer. Now he wrestled a great match, and then came back after that tough loss and won in the consolation finals to advance. So I mean, they all wrestled real well. I mean,
who were champions for Meadville?
We had Vincent Ranella at 113. Trent Tidball at 170, Griffin Bazell at 182, who's a sophomore. It's hard to win at heavyweights when you're a sophomore and freshman. And I say that because at 195 was Rowan Woodrow, who's a freshman.
Yeah.
And then at Tommy Pollard, who wrestled 220 most of the year, bumped up to 285, and he won the 285-pound title. And then Weston Chess was the other one who made the finals at 126, I think. And then
Chess 126, 120.
120.
Lost to Butterfield from McDowell.
Yeah. And both Butterfields won. They're both pretty good.
And this is big for Meadville wrestling because last year they had some really good wrestlers, but they only had one district champ last year, Vincent Ranella winning 113, and everything else was kind of a lot of close losses, a lot of tough losses. It was kind of a disappointing day for Meadville, and that was Barry Anderson, the coach of Meadville, mentioned that in his pregame story and stuff like that.
And interestingly enough, of the 8 kids who made it through, Meadville loses only 3 of those.
Yeah.
Tidball and Pollard were the seniors, and then Winston Higgy, who advanced at 160, I believe, is a 160.
Third at 160.
He plays third at 160 to advance. He is a senior as well.
No, okay.
But everyone else is back. They got a good group of kids coming up. Brighton Anderson, head coach Barry Anderson's son, comes up next year, as well as another Tidball, so who's very good. And there's a couple other kids coming up. I mean, they're not going to have the depth yet for a couple more years, I think, but they're definitely showing that they have the quality.
Yeah.
And you know what? And do you need 6 kids to wrestle at 113, or you just need one who can beat everybody? You know?
And who knows what high school wrestling is going to look like next year, the year
true.
after that, because there's been a lot of talk about shortening stuff up and
Right.
But up next for the meet before the future comes for the team, they got Northwest Regionals in Altoona next week.
Yes.
And then hopefully some guys going to Hershey to go to states in March 5th through the 9th, I believe that's going to be. And then tomorrow we got Double A coming up, so we don't really know what's going to happen there. But we got a few guys seeded first. Well, we got 3 section champs in there: Joey King from Maplewood. And then from Sagertown, Kenny Keyser and Landon Caldwell. They have pretty good shots at moving on. I think a lot of good guys have a chance of maybe correcting some things that they made, some mistakes that they maybe made at sections, or using what they learned to surpass their performance at sections.
Right.
So we'll have to see what goes on. That's going to be tomorrow and Friday down at Sharon. We'll talk about that next week. But yeah, so that's wrestling for the week. Jordan, you just got back from Erie where you were watching Cash and Warren. I shot that game, and man, oh man, every time Warren put that ball in the air, it was going into hoop, wasn't it?
It was one of the most impressive shooting performances I can remember from a high school basketball game. They were just, flawless execution from the get-go. And that they said they had over a week off after having a bye week, so they said they practiced, and there was no sign of rust for them. They just
looks like
67% in the first half.
Look at those internet videos where you see kids at like the pop-a-shot, game, and they're just pop, 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 pop. That's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, and it was a combination of a lot of things. They did a very good job of cutting to the basket and getting kind of.
It's not like Connie was standing still.
No, they weren't. They were giving it their all. I mean, they just kept hitting shots, and Cash, started off a little bit slow. And it's just hard to play when you're behind, especially in high school basketball. No shot clock. There's not really, Warren can play at whatever pace they want when they're up in double digits, and it was just tough sledding the entire way for Cash. They graduated a group of 6 seniors that were all pretty impactful in a lot of sports at Conneaut.
Yeah.
So it's they made the playoffs. They won a playoff game. Something to build on. For the
they said they looked to set a bar. But yeah, I mean, it's Cash, when they shot, clunk. And then, when Warren shot, they would have a nice cut in, like you said, nice pass, they would score, and and usually sometimes you see dynamic shift throughout the course of the game. That dynamic stayed the entire way. Mm-hmm. Cash kept hitting it off the rim, and Warren just couldn't miss.
That big man that Warren has, Bablak, is a very, very good player.
Bablak, what number was he?
I think it was 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is he
kind of a lanky kid. Yeah.
So let's see. Warren, that's 4A boys. Warren moves on. They're going to face
another really good team, Hickory.
Yeah, who beat Titusville was up, I think, first quarter of that game, and then Hickory came back and won 70-53. That final, Warren won that one 68-42. Harbor Creek beat General McLean 40-28. And Grove City beat Corey 61-49. So the semifinals in 4A, which are going to be on Tuesday, is Hickory versus Warren, Harbor Creek, Grove City. We don't know when, we don't know where, and we don't care. We don't cover any of those teams. And then tomorrow, we got a busy day tomorrow because we got 2A basketball. We got Middlesex versus... No. Back up. We got Farrell versus Maplewood, 7:30 at Grove City. Cochrane versus Lakeview at Meadville at 6, and then Cambridge Springs, Wilmington, 7:30. That's at Meadville High School as well. Last week, I think, do we talk about? We didn't talk after that first round games, did we? Maplewood beat West Middlesex. That was a surprise, wasn't it?
Wild game, yeah.
I mean, West Middlesex has long been a good, 2A team. They're often, one of the last few teams, or if not the last team standing in District 10.
Matt, was that your game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I brought that up, and a lot of the players thought they were, going into that most people thought they were the underdog, and I think they took that as a little incentive to go out there and prove that, they were the higher seed for a reason. That's why they had to.
Yeah, I think record-wise they were about even. I want to say they were pretty close.
I think Middlesex was 9-14.
Couple games above.
I think West Middlesex went in at 9-13. And Maplewood went in at 8-14. So after the game, they were both 9-14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but because of seeding reasons, Maplewood was technically the higher seed. They had the home field advantage, and they used it to their advantage. 58-56. There wasn't like a clinching shot or anything. Was it?
Well, it was tied 56-56. West Middlesex had the ball with about 30 seconds left, and they called a timeout to set up a play, and they put in a young kid to inbound the ball, and it was Clay Cox. He's kind of laid back, and when the young kid kind of lobbed the ball into his player, Cox fired off, stole the ball, and they fouled him with about 17 seconds left or something like that. And he made the first free throw, missed the second one, and John Nadgett made a great play. Leaped and kind of tipped it back out towards half court where a Maplewood player picked it up. And he looked like he's about to pass the ball away. But he was one of the better free throw shooters, so he says, you know what? I'm going to hold on to it. And they fouled him with about 3 seconds left. And then he made one, put him up 2, and then their last second three-pointer was way up.
So Clay jumped the route.
Yeah.
And that was Malcolm Butler and the... Was that the guy that
the Seahawks Patriots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was Maplewood. Like you said, they're moving on to face Farrell. They got a tough one at Grove City tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Wilmington, Union City. We didn't go to that one. Wilmington won 49-41. Wilmington moves on to take on Cambridge Springs. Lucky Dogs, you. Lakeview beat Sagertown 55-29. I mean, you were there? Were you there?
Lakeview... Kind of the same thing they've been doing all year is they just hold teams below 30, and they like to grind you out. And in the second half though, they really every turnover Sagertown had, they were running. So they kind of just pulled away from there. I think the third quarter it was like 19-3 in favor of Lakeview. Lakeview Cochrane is actually a pretty fun matchup, I would say, because Cochrane is going to press them. And Lakeview, they like to play pretty slow, but Cochrane's going to try to, speed them up.
Yeah.
Because Cochrane likes to play a lot of guys. They like to sub in and out. They've been rotating. I think their rotation goes up to like 10. And that's how it's been going when they've, turned the season around. As they've Canfield said that he's willing to, if somebody doesn't have it, he'll just put somebody else in.
Yeah.
So that game might be closer than people expect.
It's going to be a battle for the accelerator pedal. It sounds like they're going to be trying to.
Yeah.
Whoever can set the tempo will seem to have.
And last year, Cochrane was the region champ, and Lakeview stunned them. So Cochrane might want some revenge.
I'm sure they would. Yeah,
falling to Lakeview in the quarters last year.
Yeah, Lakeview's always tough, very deliberate team. Yeah, that's going to be a good one. So that's tomorrow, as we said, 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 o'clock at Meadville High School, and then Cambridge Springs 7:30. They had a bye in the first round, being region champs. They got Wilmington. Wilmington's going to be out their top player, Junior McConaughey. He's having shoulder surgery. I guess his shoulder's been bad all season long, and they finally just said, that's enough. You got to get it done. And so they're going to be out. They're going to be without him. So that's 2A. 3A, the quarterfinals tomorrow are going to be Franklin versus Girard at Oil City High School, 7:30. At the Prep Villa Events Center, Mercer's Prep Sharon at 6, and Fairview Greenfield at 7:30. And then at Grove City High School, Sharpsville versus Northeast at 6 p.m. 4A we mentioned already, and then 5A. Here we go.
we kind of buried the lead here.
Yeah,
a little bit. Meadville stunned Cathedral Prep. It was an amazing game. It was just everything Meadville did was like different, special. It was a fascinating game to cover. Prep. I think looking back on their game, they'll want a lot of shots back. They just missed a lot of open ones that they had that they made the other two games, and this one just was a little different. They didn't have the shot. They allowed Meadville to stay in it, and then Meadville made the plays down the stretch. Charlie Wade had some big ones in the third. Sam Burchard. Yeah, he kept them in the second quarter. He made like 3 straight baskets. So he got them going. Then Wade made plays in the third. Davion Butler made plays in the second half. A lot of big plays for him. You could tell that he was hurting a little bit with his hip, but he battled through it. And then it really came down to just Lamero Husband. He set a screen for Davion, and then he popped off it to the 3-point line, dished it to him for a game-tying 3. And then Davion drove for a layup. It bounced off the backboard, and Lamero Husband sprinted in and put it back over. I mean, the Cathedral Prep players were all there. He just kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think they saw him coming.
He
was huge from
the
3-point line. Yeah, and
almost before it even bounced off the rim, he was on it.
Yeah, and you also have to give credit. Prep had their last chance. They had a pretty good play set up. Alfonso Pickens, I think, is their point guard, and he
tried driving
zoomed past. They set a nice screen, so it was 5-on-4 for Prep, and Charlie Wade was in the right position at the right time to intercept the pass, and it was like a scramble for the ball, and Davion Butler ended up fighting for it to get the jump ball with 0.4 seconds left, which basically sealed the game.
That was quite a game. Meadville played. I watched it twice.
Everything was perfect.
Great defensive game. They win 54-52 over Cathedral Prep's second District 10 title in a row, third in the last 4 years. They move on to a PIAA sub-regional on Tuesday versus Du Bois at Clarion University, 6 p.m. Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah. I wanted to give a shout-out to Burchard because he was the one guy who showed up in all 3 of those games against Prep. He scored in double figures in all of them. He played big for them in every game. Finally, they got the help, and it seemed like they had a lot more chemistry this time around.
The chemistry was
obviously they worked on that between the last meeting and this one. But what a week it's been for Meadville. The girls basketball team had a big win on Saturday over Franklin. They get to play this Saturday. You had the Meadville basketball team. You had the big showing at the wrestling.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, a must-win situation for Meadville to beat Moon. And now they're in prime spot to get into a playoff spot, which it didn't look like about 8 games ago they had any chance. Now,
they just need a little bit of help.
A little bit of help, and they're in.
We'll get to them once.
Just a great week for them.
I feel like I should also I have to include all 7 of the guys that played. Kean Lindsay didn't have any points, but he was locking in on defense every single possession.
That was a clean block in the second half.
It was a clean block too. Absolutely, he couldn't believe it.
I couldn't either. That was a great block off the glass.
He had to go to the bench and talk to coach. He couldn't believe it. Reese Pirro provided valuable minutes. Meadville only had 6 turnovers. They had 6 turnovers in the first quarter of the game that they played at Prep. They had 6 turnovers.
Rope-a-doping everybody just for this game?
Maybe.
What was going on? I mean, because...
Well, they still got off to a slow start. They only scored 5 points.
They only scored 5 points. It was kind of the same story as the other 2 games.
Yeah, the difference is in the first game, they were down, 21-6 after the first quarter?
It was...
In the second game, they were down 24-4. And this one, they were only down 11-5.
Yeah, Prep had a bad shooting start, and Xavier Hughes had a buzzer beater in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody made the plays when they needed to make the plays, it was a special game. I mean,
That was great.
It was awesome.
Good for them, man, because they were in such a tailspin during the second half of the year. You know, they ran into the toughest part of the schedule with some tumult inside the lineup and everything like that. Everything just kind of went to pieces. They lost a bunch in a row. It didn't seem like it was going to happen. It didn't seem like this was their year. But man, credit to the coaching staff, credit to Coach McElhaney, credit to those kids for digging deep and getting it done in the title game against.
It's kind of funny.
Cathedral Prep.
It was the Christmas tournament down at Brook. Remember?
Yeah.
They came out in that first game, played outstanding, won that game. And that's when Lindsay got hurt. I think Wade got sick. So his husband. They all got the flu and all this, and then they came out, and that was where that kind of slide started.
Is that when that happened?
I mean,
the confidence never left the team. You know,
no, they played
every post-game interview with Coach McElhaney, it was, our season comes down to that one game.
Right.
We just got to lock in for that one game. I mean, obviously, you want to win. You want to have respect in your region. You want to win your region. But they never really lost that focus that they knew that the season came down to Tuesday night at Edinburgh against Cathedral Prep. And credit to them. They were behind most of that game. And then there was a point where they had their big run. They were up 10 at one point in the third quarter, and Prep erased that lead in like 3 minutes. And they answered. They responded. This is just a wild game. Great game.
Yeah, great game. Good for them. Like as we said, they're moving on. PIAA, a sub-region game against Du Bois on Tuesday. Clarion University, the alma mater of one Pete Chido, and they'll never live that one down. And then Class 6A, Erie won that one over Kennedy Catholic.
No, Erie won the semi. McDowell beat Erie.
Oh, the semifinal.
Yeah.
Erie won over it, and then McDowell beat Erie in the championship game. But both are moving on. Yep. Erie's playing the District 6 runner-up on the 24th in a play-in game, and then both teams go to a sub-region.
Yeah,
tournament.
what was that? Prep and Kennedy Catholic held out of the state playoffs.
How about that? Yeah, the two.
Wow.
Is Mercyhurst Prep still alive? Erie First is done. Mercyhurst Prep still alive. Yeah.
The McDowell, having seen both McDowell and Erie play Meadville, both those teams can make a splash in the playoffs. They both have a lot of athleticism and talent. They can score in buckets, and William Jeffers is the best player I've seen in a long time.
Yes, he is.
You just really never know what competition you're getting.
Right.
So let's move on to girls. This was the end of the week last week. There was a lot of first round action. Well, first of all, in 1A, it's going to be Kennedy Catholic Farrell for the championship. That's on the 29th. In Class 2A, there was two games last week. One was Mercer beating Iroquois 55-53. The other one was Cochrane beating Commodore Perry 51-29. Did you go to that one?
I did go to that one. It was a pretty close game. Cochrane, missed a lot of shots that they normally make.
It was a close game.
It was a close game in the first half. I think it was like a 5-point game or something.
Yeah, 23 to
8, and then
17.
They rolled from there. I mean, the second half it was, I think Commodore Perry made just like a couple shots. They just couldn't get through the Cochrane defense.
Yeah, Cochrane held them to 4 points in the third quarter, 8 in the third. Yeah, they kind of pulled, or 8 in the fourth, excuse me. Yeah. And they pulled away. Martinek with 17, Harvey with 10. So in the quarterfinals on Saturday at Farrell High School, it's going to be Sharpsville versus Cochrane at 1. And Sagertown, who had a bye in the first round, they get West Middlesex at 2:30. And then at Meadville on Saturday, it's going to be Maplewood and Mercer at 1 p.m. Cambridge Springs, they're still taking it easy. They've had a bye for the next round, too. They're in the state playoffs. They got a bye in the first round and in the quarterfinals. They're moving right on to the semifinals. They'll play the winner of Sagertown West Middlesex on the 26th. Was that Wednesday, I think? And so they're going to be in the top 4 that get into states from 2A. So good for them. They're a good team, and they could use a break. All those running those 5 kids all year like they have been. 3A is going to be Seneca beat Northeast in the first round, 39-34. The quarterfinals is going to be Saturday, Greenville versus Fairview at 2:30 at Meadville, and then Lakeview versus Girard at 4 o'clock at Meadville. Lakeview had a bye in the first round, and then Mercyhurst Prep versus Seneca in Erie at 1 p.m. Saturday. 4A, there's going to be Fort LaBeouf versus Villa Maria for the championship. That's Saturday at Mercer University, 1 p.m. And then 5A, Meadville girls over Franklin, 56-23. I mean, that was kind of what we were expecting, was because they beat Franklin both times they saw them in the regular season. Is that correct, as far as I know? Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of expecting them to win.
It was closer than that, though, I think.
Yeah, no, they were closer games,
played,
yeah. And this time they really kind of put it together, and they were dominating Franklin 13-2 after one quarter, 22-3 after two quarters. They held Franklin to 3 points in the first half. So Meadville, if they get tenacious on defense, they're a different unit, man. And they had a good game on, what was that? That was on Saturday at Cockerton High School. Let's see, Fontenay Wade had 12 points. J.S. Speed had 14. So, yeah, it was a good win for them. They get Warren in the quarterfinals tomorrow at Haggerty Event Center in Erie, 2:30 p.m. Warren's a tough team, but let's see what Meadville could do, you know. Also in 5A quarterfinals, Harbor Creek versus Hickory, 4 o'clock in Erie. And then a Farrell High School doubleheader, 4 o'clock, Grove City versus General McLean, 5:30, Slippery Rock versus Quarry. And then 6A is going to be tomorrow. No. Oh, we didn't update that. We got to update our brackets. 6A is tomorrow at... or Saturday, Erie versus McDowell, somewheres. We got to get that updated in our agate. Oh, hockey. We were talking about high school hockey. Meadville kind of had another must-win. The last few games have all been must-win situations. They were playing Moon, had to win it in order to have a chance at the playoffs, and boy, did they take that opportunity.
Yeah. Beginning of the year, Jamie was a little concerned about where he was getting his offense from. He knew he had Cole Weber back. He was their leading scorer returning. But Cody Lewis and Michael Mahoney down the stretch have been huge. Against Mars, the team that they really need to help them out, he scored all 3 goals in a 3-2 win.
Mahoney did.
The week before. Yeah, Mahoney did.
Yeah, he did. He had a couple of nice ones, too.
Yeah, he scored 2 of their first 3 goals against Moon. Lewis had one. Lewis had a couple of assists in there. A team that had trouble scoring goals all year in their last 5 or 6 games is probably been averaging 4 or 5 goals, close to 4 goals. So
they ended up winning 7-0 over Moon.
Yeah, and it was 2-0 after 2 periods, and then
2-0 after 2 periods. So it was still close. Anything could happen in that third.
And then they got 2 straight power play goals. And then closed with 2 straight shorthanded goals. And, that was huge. That was huge for them. Now all they need is for Mars to win out. Mm-hmm. And they have to win.
There's the one, they play each other, the 2 teams.
Mars and Quaker Valley play each other at the end of the year.
On the 28th, I believe.
Yeah.
So right now,
27th, I think, Thursday the 26th.
Right now, it's Meadville in first place with 18 points in Northwest. They got to finish in the top 2 in the Northwest Division of Class AA and the PIHL. Right now, they're number 1 with 18 points. Quaker Valley second with 17. Mars third with 16. However, Mars
has 2 games left. So they could, if they win both, they could get up to 20 points and surpass Meadville. However, one of those games is against Quaker Valley, which, as we were trying to figure out the date. Yeah.
That's Mars.
They got Moon the 24th, and then
game schedule.
I believe could be the 28th. I thought it was Thursday.
Oh, how much money you want to put on it? Hurry.
I think
you want to put $27 down?
27.
All right. 27th. I told you guys.
So, but if they go into that game,
what Meadville needs is not a 3-point game. They don't want that game going longer than it needs to go.
Well,
yeah, because if Quaker Valley loses in overtime, they still get a point, right?
Right. And then Meadville would have to play them in a play-in game.
Yeah.
Would be tied with 18 points. So they just need Mars to beat Quaker Valley. It's as simple as that on the 27th, as I've been saying the whole time.
Yes.
Now, if
Mars loses, then
either
way it's good. If Mars loses the game on the 24th, then they just need one of them to lose.
Okay, yeah. So
So
Mars,
they'll be in good shape.
Mars has Moon on the 24th.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If Mars loses both of their
Good-
last games, they
yeah.
stay with 16 points.
Yeah, so I guess the good thing is that Meadville did enough that these teams now have work to do
Yeah.
to get there. So that's positive for
The
them.
only way Meadville would not get at least a play-in game is if Mars beats Moon on Monday,
and then
and
go
then
to overtime.
loses to Quaker Valley in overtime, because that would give
Yes,
Or beat-
yes, that's exactly that.
because then that would give the Quaker Valley and Mars both 19 points.
Okay. You're right. You're right.
Yes,
You're right.
That would be the worst.
That would be awful.
that
That's
would be
the
the
worst
bad
case
case.
scenario. Now, if well, like we
That's
said,
doomsday.
if Mars happens to lose to Moon, I think the Meadville was kind of hoping they lose to Hampton, even though Hampton only had 2 wins. One of those wins was against Meadville. So
Yeah.
they look back at that, going, man, if we just had that 1 point here or there, or 2 points there. But unfortunately, obviously Hampton didn't help them out, so maybe Moon can do it.
It would be nice to see that because it seems like they're hitting the stride here, and it's a shame they have so much time off before the playoffs gets going.
Well, they did pick up a game Friday against Peters Township, or Sunday against Peters Township.
okay. Here?
I'm not sure where that's at, though. I'll have to give Jamie a call and find that out.
Well, we'll check Team Snap or something. I'm sure it's
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah.
So that's good because they probably want to keep their edges sharp.
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
'Cause they seem to be figuring it out here
Right.
and at the right time to do it. So let's see. We covered wrestling. We covered basketball.
Hockey.
Covered hockey. Let's see. That's really is it? What am I missing here? I'm missing something.
High school, I think we got.
High school, we got it. Colin, you guys got anything to say about I don't know, the Astros or something? Jim
They're
Baylor,
cheaters.
Ryan Newman.
Good that he's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty gnarly crash. No, you guys have nothing else to say. We're just here, just
When is?
looking at each other.
I was just sitting here wondering. I'm like,
Moment
you
of
know what?
silence.
When is swimming?
Oh, that's right. That's the 28th, isn't it? I
There's
think it's
that.
the
There's
28th.
that
next
long
weekend?
break where they do like their last chance meet
Yeah.
and
Which I
try to get everybody to
think
districts that
is
they want to
Saturday?
have.
I think, or has it already happened? I don't know.
Swimming's normally like the first week of March,
I thought it was the 28th.
which is close.
Yeah.
The first week of March.
Yeah, very close. About as close as you could get, except for this year. So we'll get to swimming. We'll maybe preview that next week and talk about who has a chance to see what the seeds are and stuff like that, and see who has a chance to get to the top of that podium this year. Maybe read some repeat performance. Do we have anybody that could repeat this year? Who were the champs last year? Is Philbrick?
Philbrick,
Adams?
Merch Baker.
Yeah, Merchbaker.
No, not Adams.
Those two have been swimming real well. I know that.
I know that that there's a boys relay team that's had a good year.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter.
But we'll know more. We'll know more. We'll know more further along.
Yeah, so that's swimming.
And
let's
again,
see.
it's postseason. You never know.
Yeah.
And top seed, maybe they decide maybe they could be the top seed in 3 events, and they decide to pull out of one because you can only swim in 4. So I mean,
NBA All Star Game was fun.
Was it? I didn't watch it.
They actually did a pretty good job of making it more competitive. In the fourth quarter, they had a score you had to get to instead of timing it. So in the end, all the All Stars were going full tilt.
Really?
And they never subbed anybody out. So Joel Embiid was about to collapse on the court. He was about to fall. He was about to faint. It seemed. But yeah, I mean, it was really entertaining. They did they designed it where it's whoever was leading that score plus 24 for Kobe Bryant. And they had to play to that score, and it was pretty dramatic. It came down to free throws by Anthony Davis, which was a little anticlimactic.
Yeah,
but hey, I think they found something to make the All-Star Game fun, because that's the whole point. That's the whole thing that they always try to do with these All-Star Games. We got to try to make this way more fun than it is, because people are just sleeping through it.
It's just half-ass basketball otherwise.
Right.
they should go. They should go and pull out remember the old Rock and Jock basketball thing where they used to have celebrities and retired.
Yeah,
they still do. They still do that.
They should
They had
have
a
a
10-point
5-point spot out by
Oh yeah, they could do gimmicky stuff like that. But hey, they found a gimmick that kind of works. So
Yeah. Did they have a big countdown timer, dramatic music or anything? Or no?
I mean, they They have, like, as dramatic as they can have it.
They should have a beep.
Some people take the All-Star game very seriously, I feel.
Who does?
Like, national media people.
Oh.
They get all upset when it's not as good as what they want it to be.
Have any of you guys been watching the XFL?
I watched, like, the first game.
Surprisingly, no.
Yeah, I watched the first game. I mean, it's gimmicky football stuff that's like, hey, this would be kind of interesting if it was in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, the XFL is what it is, I guess. Cardell Jones, former Ohio State player, has been really good. That's really all I know about it.
I keep hearing people talking about it on social media.
Yeah,
It sounds
so
like it's
they have some
enjoying
cool
it.
stuff, like the kickoff. Both teams start like 10 yards apart, like down at the other end, and it's just a kicker on one side, and he kicks it to them. And that's like an idea so that they don't like collide. It's not like the full speed collisions that you would have where the guys are sprinting the whole way down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like it works pretty well, that you still get, returns, but guys aren't getting like clotheslined out there.
Yeah.
And then the conversions is weird. There's a 1 point, 2 point, and a 3 point conversion for where it's like the 2 yard line, the 5 yard line, or the 10 yard line. There's no kicking. It's only 2 point conversions, but for 3 points from the 10, 2 points from the 5, and a 1 point from the 2. So it's pretty fascinating how teams never go for 1. That's what I've noticed, is that they always they'd rather just go for the 2
Right.
at the 5.
But it is cool if you're down by 3 after you score a touchdown. Yeah.
Right. 9 point play. And now if you're down 9, you still got a shot.
Mm-hmm.
I got rid of cable. Is it on anywhere else?
It's on like ESPN if you have like access to like an ESPN password, or Fox.
What a weird way to say if you have ESPN, if you have access to an ESPN password. Fox, no, I have none of that stuff.
You don't have the Disney Plus Hulu
is that on
ESPN
there?
bundle?
Yeah, I think so.
Then you probably have ESPN. You probably have access
ESPN
to an
Plus.
ESPN password that you can
ESPN Plus.
use.
Oh, I have access to an ESPN password. Cool.
I guess for Star Wars people, Clone Wars, their new season came out on Disney Plus.
Is that right? Yeah.
That was apparently the big thing today.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Is that a cartoon?
Yes. That's
Good.
I think we've reached the point here. Trying to spark conversation.
I fell back. I got home and watched Group B for The Masked Singer.
The Masked Singer.
That is.
I'm actually like disappointed in the show now, because for some reason they let the fans vote and they still let Gronkowski in there. He can't sing, he can't dance, he can't do anything. He's just a big idiot out
People
there.
like him. People like big idiots.
After cord cutting, I've lost all touch with network TV. I see all the shows and I'm like, man, that looks terrible every single time. And Masked Singer, I mean, I've seen like clips on YouTube. That's
The
pretty
costumes are
pretty
cool.
fun.
They're fun to watch.
Like,
It's
it's
fun.
pretty
I love
goofy.
sitting there trying to guess who it is, because they give you all these clues. Just like,
The celebrity panel really.
I figured
annoys
out.
me,
I figured out the Gronkowski pretty quickly.
Was he just terrible?
Oh, he's horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so bad. He raps. That's it.
Ouch.
And he can't even rap well.
Well, rapping's hard. You don't think rapping's hard?
Oh, yeah.
I think rapping's very
Yeah,
hard.
to sound good doing it, yes, definitely.
Matt disagrees. Matt thinks rapping's easy.
Get off
Could
my
you rap?
lawn, you
Can you do it right now?
Yes, rap for
No,
us,
I'm not
Matt.
a rapper.
Oh.
Because it's a lot harder than it sounds, yes. But if you're going to go on that show and
You
pretend
better
to try and sing and rap, you better be able to do one or the other.
Right.
Well, they probably have professionals coaching them. They probably do pitch shifting to make it
Well, they
sound
need to
good
hire
and
him a new
stuff like
coach.
that.
They need to put him on auto-tune, which they don't do that. If you ever
really?
decide
They
to
don't?
become a celebrity and go on there, you're not allowed to have
If you
auto-tune.
decide to
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Well, or if they ever do the Meadville Masked Singer.
Evil man singing.
I'd go to that.
That's
I'd
Pete
go to
Chino, I can tell.
No, I'll take off the helmet. They'd be like, who's the guy with the beard? Who's the guy in the Cleveland hat? How did he fit
That's
that on
funny.
with a mask? So yeah, I didn't want, but I saw that Tony Hawk was unmasked. That was a cool elephant costume that he was wearing. I saw what's his name? Amelia, Little Wayne was the first week.
Yeah, he went out in the first week, which tells you how hard it is to sing.
And he's a professional musician.
And he's a professional rapper.
Yeah.
Case in point, it's easier to rap than it is to sing. Lil Wayne, great rapper, got thrown out because he couldn't sing.
No, I haven't been watching any TV. I've been watching pinball competitions. Yeah, I watched all 7 hours of the 2018 Pinburg Finals. I'm not in a row, like before going to bed I put it on. But listen, I think I'm going to do a story about Pinburg this summer. It's this competition that they have down at the Lawrence Convention Center in Pittsburgh every summer. It's the biggest, what they consider like the Super Bowl of pinball. It happens every year in Pittsburgh. $15,000 prize for the first place player. And I'm going to try to get some contacts and talk to some people who are organizing it and talk to some of the Pittsburgh area players who are in it every year and like do some kind of the thing that we did.
The esports thing. I was about to say, that was a fascinating thing to see. Like, I mean, we just saw, I just saw Brawl in the Bay, which was like the kind of like an upstart thing.
Yeah.
But they're trying to build it. They're kind of in their early stages of that. But it was pretty packed. Like, there is definitely a market for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just keeps growing. And they were like the kid. I think a kid from Buffalo won the esports thing. Pinball. I mean, it's probably a bit of an older crowd, I'd imagine. But
yeah, well, no, because
I don't know
actually...
though. Yeah, because arcades are kind of back. I see. Like I've been in like my local mall, and like they have like an arcade like room in there, like.
One of the kids that's really good is one of the top players in the world. He's 13. His name is Escher. Another kid's 17. He's Andre or something. He's from Pittsburgh actually. He's like 17. But yes, most of them are 30s, 40s, and up and stuff like that.
I love these weird like gimmicky things that like you get like child prodigies in. I think it's fascinating. It's always interesting.
But I'm gonna tell you what, compared to some of the I don't want to. Body shame anybody, but compared to some of the guys you see playing esports, the pinball players are all in relatively good shape. You have to stand the whole time, and it's a physical thing. They're not just tapping the buttons; they're moving the machine constantly. Yeah, and they're doing this for hours at a time. You have to be in somewhat of a good physical condition to do that.
Yeah. It definitely is. It's definitely, I would argue, more athletic.
Yes. Yes. Compared to video games, pinball is more athletic.
It's closer to sports.
But I've been fascinated by the whole thing. I'm kind of I've been in this rabbit hole for weeks. I just love watching it, and I'm watching the IFPA Open Finals from California that were just in January. And it's funny because they're playing this thing and they're playing these games that are decades old, and there'll be a piece of plastic that falls into one of the holes. The whole game stops, so they have to postpone everything and take the glass off.
We are getting close to another Olympic year where I get to become a fan of random sports that I never think of again.
That's good.
I love. Like, my favorite thing on the Olympics is finding the really weird channel that nobody knows what the sports are, and I just sit there and I just watch them. I just watch all the weird ones. I don't care about basketball. We win. I mean, it's over.
The other show, this new show on Fox seems to be the one coming up with the most interesting. Like they're the Masked Singer, which I don't have cable either, but I watch it on Hulu.
Yeah,
and then they have a new show that follows the Masked Singer now called Lego Masters. And they have the thing, and they gotta build. Some of these build. I mean, they just build them. They just like, hey, we're gonna do this.
Is that on Hulu?
Yeah.
I think it's funny the concept where if you lose, they just blow up your thing.
No, they don't do that.
I thought that was like a whole thing in the commercial.
The second episode was they had to make something to be blown up, and then depending how so you had to build it in a way that it would crash, and blow up when it hit, so everything went everywhere. And depending on how well if you build it too well, then you ended up in the bottom because you want it to go everywhere. So.
I wanted that to be like the
concept.
They tried to promote that show to me by making it seem like if you lose, it blows up.
Oh,
false marketing by Lego Masters.
I might check it out.
So
anyway.
They had to build a theme park. They had this whole big thing for everyone, and there was like separate spots, and there was like a monorail going through it.
Oh, this sounds right up my alley, man.
So that everyone had to pick out a section and then build their theme park, and then they had to all go back together and kind of have some kind of stuff. It was kind of neat.
I'm checking it out.
It was pretty cool.
As soon as I feel like dealing with Hulu. All right.
I think that's good for us.
No, let's keep going for another hour or so. What time is it? 12:22 a.m.
So, yeah. So we'll have the rest of the weekend's stuff, and hopefully then we'll be getting back with more.
Yeah, maybe we should
results.
do it like twice a week during the playoffs or something, because it seems like we, like on Mondays or something, just a wrap up of the stuff that happens in the weekends. And
yeah, I mean, I think like after this, because now it kind of speeds up a little bit because we're gonna have Tuesday, And then
Wednesday.
Tuesday, Friday, Wednesday, Saturday for boys and girls basketball, and the wrestling is just weekly now.
Yeah.
So it's just we're in the home stretch here.
Yeah.
And then it's springtime, and it's baseball time, and softball
Then we
time.
get to go outside.
Yeah. Whether we want to or not. All right, guys. Thank you for listening this week. For Pete, for Matt, R.I.P. Darian Keyser, and for Jordan. All right. We'll talk to you next week.